Day. It's about other things. So spring coming up, Easter coming up, there's so many things you can do with all the product that's included, whether it's the dyes or some making essentials that you're just going to absolutely love. The value is unbelievable. So for $29.99 US or 25 pounds or euro for UK and Europe, the value is incredible. And let me take you through what all the things you're going to get. So my setup is a little different this time. So I've got a little further away, so bear with me. I'll try to lift it up for you to be able to see it through the camera. So you have the thinlits of the confetti pocket. It has all sorts of little parts that you can cut to create envelopes to fill with confetti and all sorts of fun things, either attached to a card or to include in a card the loose confetti pieces. But all the dies that are included create tags, confetti, or the pockets included with it, and also a label. It has a total of 8 pieces, and that alone is a lot right there, considering the value that you're getting in the craft box. You also get the butterfly spinner card set. It comes with the pieces you need to create the spinner card, the card base, the butterfly, the window, and all the accessories. And when you go on our website, Sizzix.com or Sizzix.co.uk, you can get an idea of how to assemble it and put it together. But there are 14 total dies in that. So alone, these two would go way over the $29.99 or 25 pounds. So that's great. Then we also have this heart framelit and rubber stamp set. It comes with framelets, different dies, so you can create cards, little accessories to add on to a gift box or gift bag. It's full of great ideas, whether you're going to be stamping it or just die cutting. The possibilities are endless. So this one here is also included in the set. You'll also get a variety of two glitters. So I have the Earl Grey, and I also have the Sorbet in my set, and then also the Earl Grey embossing powder. So embossing powder is perfect because ours is biodegradable and it has a little bit of glitter in it. So once it's embossed with our heat tool or any heat tool, you see a little bit of glitter coming through the shininess of the embossing powder. And of course, you can't do any embossing with embossing powder without an embossing ink pad, so of course we're going to include that in it for you too. So the embossing ink pad, it's clear once you stamp it onto your project, or just coat your die cut piece with the embossing powder or embossing ink pad, then heat it up. That makes a beautiful finish onto whatever piece you're creating. Inside your kit, you're also going to get one of each of our silver opulent cardstock. I'm hoping the reflection isn't too heavy here, but one of each. So you get the mirror, the pearl, the brush metal, the matte, and the glitter. And these are all the shades of silver, of the opulent silver cardstock. So after I do this, I'm just going to put it in the box so it'll give me some room for what I'm going to share with you. Get this out of the way. I'm going to be needing that one. Then you get an assortment of 10 sheets of our cardstock. You're going to get Bluebell, Primrose, Mermaid Kiss, Ballet Slipper, Green Tea, Lavender Dust, Arctic Sky, Mango Tango, Limoncello, and also the Earl Grey. So with our color story, you're able to create something because we're giving you the Earl Grey embossing powder plus the Earl Grey paper. So what you can create with that, it'll all flow together. And also we have all sorts of other things that coordinate with these colors. So you can go on the website and also pick up some of those so your color story for your project will flow together perfectly. You put these off to the side. You're also going to get 5 sheets of our heavy white cardstock. Can't go wrong with cardstock. Everybody needs white cardstock, so that's another plus in this kit. So that's showing you everything that you're going to get in the kit. There's only some of the dies that I'm going to be using. So in my project that I'm going to share with you, I'm not going to be using anything from the butterfly spinner card, but if you look ahead on some of our past Facebook's lives, I believe, Alexis or maybe Jess or Josh or Pete, they have also used this or parts of it, so you can get some ideas of this. But if you look on the website, there's some great project ideas also. So this one I'm going to put aside. And there are just some parts of this and some parts of the confetti pocket that I'm going to be using. And the card I'm going to be showing you today is using the hearts from the confetti pocket as a stencil, and then some of the various pieces from the other die set also. So I'm going to put this aside. I have some of the pieces pre-cut just so I can show you how I got started with it, and that's just the card base. So with my glasses on, let me bring the machine forward. Or maybe it'd be better if it's back a little bit. So what I'm going to show you is for the confetti pocket, you're going to get, I don't know if you can see it, you're going to get an assortment of the shapes for the actual confetti pieces. So I'm going to be using the heart. So the heart, it's one strip, it's a little narrower than a bookmark, it's about an inch wide, and it has a variety of sizes of hearts. I'm going to use that as a stencil, and I'm just going to line it up onto my cardstock. So what I'm going to do is just a piece of cardstock that'll just be used as my stencil. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay this down on top of that. I'm going to use our maker's tape. Maker's tape is one of our making essentials. It's a low tack tape that will adhere your die cut or your dies down onto your cardstock so it will not ruin your project. So I'm going to go ahead and position this on here. Once I do it, I'll lift it up so you can see what I'm talking about. Go ahead and lay that down in there in the center. Put another one down here on the base. So I like to start out in the middle. This is the part that's going to be my stencil. I want to start it out in the middle. That way you'll be able to see where the sides will be, so it'll be centered. So I'm going to run it through my Big Shot fold away. And it's always good to, well, if you can, position your paper at an angle, or position your die at an angle as it feeds through. That way it doesn't hit a bump. It won't ruin the die. It'll just make sure there's no jump of your machine as it goes through. And this slipped a little bit, so let me move it over. So you want to save all these little pieces that came out with it, because that would be your confetti. So I'm just going to brush this off using my die brush and foam that comes with the die brush set, and that way all my pieces will fall out. I could also use my die pick, but that way they all fall out. Look how cute they are. I mean, how perfectly did those cut out. Fun little size. Okay, and you want to save them because who knows when you'll need those for later. Let me brush the other ones off. So now that I know where the center is, you can see exactly how it cut out perfectly in the center. So I'm just going to line these up. So what I want to do is I want to line them up. Just again, you'll see the little band, not the band, little indentation from where I actually laid the die down. So what I'm going to do is just position it there, right next to it, right alongside it. I'm just going to make sure the larger, get that one little heart out, the larger heart is even with the one next to it. And you'll see it when you do it yourself, what I'm talking about. You just want to space it out. And then that marking where your die actually laid down is a great guide because it indented it just a little bit. Not to ruin your project, because this would be a fun piece to add to whatever you're going to do. You never want to throw out your trash. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down. Reuse the washi, or my maker's tape. So that's ready to go. I'll lift that up a little bit more and bring it over just a tad. And my cutting pad is clear, so it's right next to me. That always happens. That's why I also love our color cutting pads, because you can't miss them, or the glitter one. So there's another set. Brush those out. So you can see how that's coming along. Let me do it one more time. Get those little pieces off. Get these out of here. So this set, the confetti pocket, it's such a cute idea. If you're going to be doing any kind of celebrations, if you can, or whether it's a small drive-by celebration, you can do these cute little pockets and have them included in the invitation for the drive-by party, and then have them, hand them to them, have it in the invitation, have them bring it to the drive-by, so when they come and say hello or happy birthday or congratulations on the baby, they can just kind of toss it your way and be kind of fun, pretty little decorations in your grass or in your snow, wherever you are. one more time. So I position them all evenly. And since this is going to be a stencil, not laid down, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. But if you want to use it later and add it as a part of your project, you do want it to be. But if it's not perfect, it's no big deal because you can adjust it to where it's going to go onto your card itself. There you go. So hopefully you can see that. So just this one die, this narrow die, created a stencil for you to be able to adhere and add to something. Let me put this off to the side. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using our heat tool. Get these little pieces off to the side here. So here's a piece of the white cardstock that comes with your craft kit, your January craft box. And I'm going to position this down onto the stencil onto the paper that's already pre-cut. Let's see. And I'm going to lay it down there. Let me move it forward. Maybe you guys can see a little bit better that way. My apologies. I'm trying something new. Maybe back here is better. Let me get my perspective right. There. Oops. So I've got that there, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay it down onto it with my maker's tape. Partially put it onto my tabletop because it doesn't seem like it wants to stick onto my silicone mat here, but I need it for the heat tool. So I think I will just hold it down. So the great thing about this January craft box is just because it's January, it's not only winter. We're kind of getting you ready for Valentine's Day, for Easter, for springtime. So any of the different little things you want to decorate, it's a perfect box to have, not only for the value, but all the things you can create with it. So I'm going to have all of this ready just so I can be all set. So what I have here is my funnel tray for my embossing powder, and you'll see why I need that, and also the embossing ink pad that you will need for that also. So what I'm going to do is take my blending tool. This is from the multi-purpose tool. You can have, it comes with a craft knife on one end and the distress on the other end. You can take it off and just cap it to keep it safe. From past experience, it's not good for me to have a blade on this end. even with the even with the cap that protects it and the safety cap, for some reason it always falls off for me, and major issues going on there. Anyway, so the replacement, and then you get the distress in. But I took this off, and we also have replaceable blending tools with the sponge and sponge head, so you can go ahead and use it for any kind of blending on with your inks or paints. So this is what I'm going to be using for the embossing ink pad. So I want to really soak it up well because and I got to work quick because you don't want it to dry. You want your embossing powder to adhere to it. So with my let me bring this down. I just realized you guys can't see it. With my embossing powder ready to go, make sure it's open so I can do it while it's damp. I'm just going to hold this down just to make sure it stays put. And I'm just going to really soak it up here. So I'm just making sure it's going in all the open areas where the hearts are, because you want to make sure it's completely coated with your embossing powder. And go over the same areas multiple times just to be safe. And think of all the other colors of embossing powders that we have that are not included in the kit that also coordinate with all of our product, whether it's paper, sequins and beads, sculpting foam, felt. The projects you can do that would all coordinate together would be beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. That was my stencil. You want to be careful not to touch the areas where the hearts are. And I'm going to put this in my funnel tray. And I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle all this on top. It might take the whole bottle, but that's the beauty of this funnel tray, is you don't have to worry about wasting any because it's going to go right back in and you realize how much you did not even use. But just to be safe, see if you can see. How it perfectly coated all of the area where the hearts are. Put that off to the side. Normally I would just use a little clean paintbrush, but I didn't bring one here to my tabletop area, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. And my fingers did smudge that one part, but you'll get the idea. So with my heat tool and my heat tool, my glue gun accessory kit, it comes with the fingertip protectors and the spatula. I'm going to make sure that I cover all of this area. Now you'll know when it's completely ready and finished because you'll be able to see how your embossing powder starts to kind of melt and glisten, and that lets you know, and the color changes a little bit, and that lets you know that it's ready to go. Okay, so you can see, unfortunately, where my finger actually touched it on the bottom. Sorry, I don't know if it's too bright. You can see the little glistening of it. So that's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my glitter back into my little pot that it comes in, and that's what's so great about our funnel tray. Everything's ready to go back in where it came from. So you realize how much I ended up not using, but you also know that you don't have to toss it. And that's ready to be reused. Okay, so I'm done with my embossing powder. Done with this for the moment. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how I created the little with love and this part here. It's very simple. So what I did is I could be able to show it to you all in one pass because the dies aren't very big. Let me clean out my cutting pad here. Always have one cutting pad on the bottom, one on the top. So what I also needed to do is, well, I didn't have to do it, but I put our double-sided adhesive tape on a couple pieces here. So I used our ballet slipper in our Arctic Sky, and they're going to be adhesive, so as soon as I go ahead and cut it, they're going to be ready to adhere down onto it as a sticker. So let me take my scissors and just trim that off. I like to trim it with the adhesive shaped sheet on there just a little bit so my scissors don't get all sticky. So you can kind of see through the back where you want it to go. And this is the part that the Arctic Sky part is the one that's going to go below the word, the with love phrase. And this one I just need a little piece for the heart. Okay, so I'm going to take my heart that I used on the with love, on the this set called Love Hearts. And this is the one that comes with the rubber stamp. So I'm going to take that, and that's what I'm going to be cutting with the heart. So on the ballet slipper, put that down, and then the phrase with love. So this is one of the thinlets that comes in it. That's the part that's going to go on top of the Arctic sky, and I'm going to center it on there because it's going to go right behind, or right on top of the piece that I already have ready for the front of the card. Okay, so that's going to be that. And then what else do I need to cut? Oh, I wanted to cut this ring here and this smaller circle. So the ring, the one that kind of looks like a little flower with a scalloped edge, that's going to go on top of the glitter silver opulent. And then this individual solid color is going to go here on the brushed metal opulent. My cutting pad. Run it through the machine just one time. The beauty about this machine is it doesn't matter what direction you're going. I want to make sure this didn't shift a little bit. I'm going to put some of my maker's tape on it because I need that with love to be centered. Oops. Okay, so those are ready to go. And my cutting pad, once again, where did you go? You're clear, so you're hiding from me. Oh, is it? That's what I did. I taped it onto the one that was on top. Let me just go ahead and run this through first. So what I was going to say about this machine is the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about what direction you're pushing the handle because it can feed from one side or the other. So this cut out perfectly, the glitter scalloped edge. So did the solid brushed metal. And then I'm going to do the part that I had to adjust. Put that on there one more time. Third time's a charm, right? Okay, run this through. And these will all be such cute little ideas for you to add to Easter baskets or confetti in an Easter basket or any kind of little project. They're so fun to have. So this confetti pocket is my favorite. So with this one, it cut out the word with love. So I have the actual positives, which are the letters, which I won't use, but I will keep the center of the O because I know some people like to have that. So if you want to include that in your project, you don't want to toss that one out. And then same with the heart. The heart is ready to go. My die pick. Now if you're familiar with our dies, you know that they all have the poke hole. So it's ready to go without ruining your project. You just put your die pick in and out it pops. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up the one that says with love. It cut out perfectly, and since it was already on my adhesive sheet, it's already a sticker. So let me go ahead and lay that down. But here I believe I'm finished with all my cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down here, the with love, on top of my primrose colored cardstock. So that one's all set, ready to go. Hopefully it's not too bright in your eyes. You were able to see it a little bit. And then I'm going to put the little piece that came out of the center of the O. I'm going to go ahead and add that down there inside the O. So now it finishes off the word. Is that helping or not helping? I can't even tell. It's a little far away. Sorry, you guys. So that's ready. So I got that ready. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to adhere. This was also a sticker. I'd already put the adhesive sheet on the back. So I'm going to adhere this onto the center of the part that is the scallop silver. And the reason I did the heart as a sticker is not only for it to be adhering down, but I did it on one side. I could have adhered it on two sides, but I want to do the glitter on it. So what I did is I peeled off the back and I'm going to add some of my sorbet glitter on it. And that's the color that I have in my kit. Everybody's is different, so variety is the spice of life, right? You just tap it down, and it's not glue, so I don't have to worry about it not needing time to dry. Look how perfectly it glittered up. Now I'm going to take our express glue, which I love. Our express glue dries quickly, stays put, it dries clear, and it's the absolute best, especially when I remember to unplug it. So I could have put, like I said, adhesive on both sides, and it would have stuck perfectly down onto my flower, or sorry, my center. Now if I wanted, I could have popped it up with our foam tape. So maybe that's what I'll do on the back of this side. That's what I'll do on the back of my scallop side. This is our 3D adhesive foam tape, which this is actually like, once it's down, it is down, and it is serious. You don't want to mess with that one because it'll come up, but it'll leave a little bit behind. So you want to make sure you put that down exactly where you want it to be. So I like to be double thickness, so I'm just going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to put it right there on the back. I'm going to leave it off to the side just so I can put the rest of the card together. So what I had done for some of my parts and pieces is I had cut out a few different colors of the cardstock and the opulent paper ahead of time. And if you can see all the different colors, how pretty that turns out, that's a lot of fun to have just to toss around, let somebody play with. Let me make a mess here so you can see it. But the colors and the glitter are just beautiful, great combination. So what I did is I added just a few pieces to the side of my With Love little piece there. And then also the tinier one too. There's so many different sizes that you can play with and have fun with, so you don't want to throw any of those out. So if you can see that, that's the little With Love. And another technique that I had done with the confetti parts is using the one that's the circles. So this comes with a variety of circles. If you can tell the difference, the heart one isn't as wide, obviously, as the circle one, so you have to do this multiple times, but you can do this quite a few times and get still a whole lot out. So I did the same stencil technique, but I did it on the little pocket that you can make to create with your confetti pocket. It's part of the die set. And I did the same technique with the Earl Grey paper that's also included in your kit, and the Earl Grey embossing powder. So that did the same idea. So if you have more of a masculine little gift you want to do with some confetti, this is fun, especially with these colors. So if you can see the difference of once I embossed it, how pretty that turns out, especially when it's filled with all that sort of fun stuff. So let me go ahead and quickly assemble this card. Get some of this fun stuff out of the way. So I have my card already matted. So I have my white cardstock folded. White cardstock comes in your kit, and so I folded that already, and I added a mat of the Bluebell cardstock. And then using my double-sided tape runner, I'm going to just go ahead and adhere that down just on the four corners. Center it here on my card. And this one here that I had put the double-sided, the beauty about this one, if you do something like this, you can, if you find a spot that you maybe accidentally rubbed your finger on, you can cover it on there. But or just lay it wherever you'd like it to be. So I'm just going to put it up there. And then this piece here, I'm going to use my double-sided foam tape, which I have somewhere. You guys are probably looking right at it. Okay, put that there on the back of my With Love. It'll stand up, it'll give a little dimension to the actual card itself, not as high as the heart, because the heart I did double it up, so the heart would be extra 3D. Go ahead and lay that on the back. See how well it sticks to my fingers? Not very forgiving. And I'm going to go ahead and lay it down on my card, whatever position you want it to be. And there we have it. hoping this turned out well enough for you guys to see with my new lighting. Thank you so much for joining me, and go on the website, get this incredible value, and we hope all the inspiration we've shared with you so far and the things to come will inspire you to create some wonderful things. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.